Well, hello, this is Pam Bird bringing to you a bird's eye view. I'm sure you've heard the phrase love knows no boundaries. Oh, many people have posted this, they've coined this phrase love knows no boundaries. But did you ever think of where it came from? Now, some people will lead you to believe that it came from the Bible. But I want to dispel that myth for you by allow me to share with you a number of the different versions of the Bible and this particular verse that people refer to when they say love knows no boundaries. This comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 7, and this is what people will typically use. But you know what this verse actually says? Let me read it to you. Well, in the Good News Translation, this version reads, love never gives up. Its faith, hope, and patience never fail. In the Complete Jewish Bible, this verse reads, love always bears up, always trusts, always hopes, and always endures. In the American Standard Version, this reads, love beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, and endureth all things. And lastly, in the Contemporary English Version, this verse reads, love is always supportive, loyal, hopeful, and trusting. Love never fails. So you see, nowhere does this read that love knows no boundaries. As a matter of fact, in order for love to be used most effectively, there needs to be boundaries in place. I'm going to use the phrase that has been so eloquently coined by Tina Turner in her movie and in her song, What's Love Got to Do with It? Because many times we, especially as women, and especially as Christian women, have the belief that we don't need to set boundaries. And actually we do. Love requires that we set boundaries in order for us to be successful in our lives. In order for us to impact anyone's life in a positive way, we must set healthy boundaries. Now, I will admit there are differences between healthy boundaries and unhealthy boundaries. And so I am putting together a series of candid conversations where I will be sharing with you different reasons for setting healthy boundaries, how to set healthy boundaries, and the dynamics, what it is that needs to occur in order for you to do that. Because many people believe that love means that we enable, and we don't. Enabling means we take upon ourselves the responsibility that someone else needs to have for themselves and their own growth based on their experiences. When we feel the need to take on someone else's responsibility, we're really not showing love, at least the type of love that God wants us to show. And so we have to have the courage and the wherewithal and the knowledge of who we are and whose we are, and have the love for ourselves to understand that it's important that we do not enable other people by doing things for them, because this is where we need to set healthy boundaries. Throughout these candid conversations, I'm going to help you to understand the difference between internal and external boundaries. And I'm going to share with you the culprit of not being able to set boundaries, and that's the enemy. Because anytime the enemy can get you to believing that you don't have to set boundaries in the name of love, he has then done what he needs to do to prevent you from walking in the path that God has designed, especially for you. Many times the enemy will use other people to do things to you that prevent you from setting boundaries out of fear. Many times we as women, we don't set proper boundaries out of fear of what will happen if we do, fear of the consequences that will set in as a result, fear of rejection, fear of loneliness, fear of abandonment. And you know, when we have the love of Christ, we have to remember how we will never, ever be lonely because of his love for us. And so another thing I want to share with you, I'm going to talk to you about something that my upcoming book is about, and that's the drama triangle. Because you see, many people will pull us into this dysfunctional model of behavior, and that prevents us from setting healthy boundaries. But if you don't know what that is, it's hard for you to be able to set them, because no one can trample on your boundaries or cross over them if you haven't put them in place. So I do hope that you will listen in to these candid conversations that I will be having, and feel free to give me some questions that you have as it relates to boundaries. Is this a boundary? Should this boundary be set? What happens if this? Those type of things. I've been a boundaries coach for the past 8 years, and trust me, I've heard it all. And I will be more than happy to help you to work through any issues and challenges that you have so that you are empowered to set those healthy boundaries. Again, this is Pam Bird bringing to you a bird's eye view, and I look forward to having you participate in candid conversations and helping you to understand that love knows boundaries. Take care and God bless.